This is exactly what I went through today with this team member. I'm going to go through, I have a 78-page PDF document. This is my way of onboarding. We obviously didn't cover everything today. We covered a lot, or some of it, and some of it will be for tomorrow and this week. Hey, happy New Year, and welcome back to the Dave Kittle Show. Today is just a solo one. I know it's been a while. It has been a minute. I've been doing a ton of episodes with Jimmy McKay and Tony Maritato, but here's a solo one, a quick one. How to onboard a 6-figure staff physical therapist. Now, this is not the only way. This happens to be my way. And right now it's January 12th of 2026. And today was my first day of onboarding my next full-time physical therapist at Concierge Pain Relief Physical Therapy here in New York City. I have posted it publicly, but long story short, it's a $87,000 base salary for the first 14 visits of a week, per week, Monday through Sunday. So on visit number 15, again, we're doing one-on-one visits, and some of it is home visits and some of it is in our office. So it's a little bit of hybrid. But on visit number 15 to 20, the compensation would then be $145 per visit. And then from visit 21 and onward after that would be paid at the rate of $175 per visit. And so that is why I'm confident, based off of the physical therapist, which I don't have his approval right now, so I won't even mention their names. But in the future, if they're okay with it, maybe we'll get them on here. We'll do some content around it. But this is exactly what I went through today with this team member. I'm going to go through, I have a 78-page PDF document. This is my way of onboarding. We obviously didn't cover everything today. We covered a lot, or some of it, and some of it will be for tomorrow and this week. But if you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, I truly appreciate it. Drop a review if you like listening on those platforms. But I'm going to share the screen. I'm not going to go over everything. So if you're interested in what my onboarding document looks like, what I do shoulder to shoulder with a physical therapist at my team, then you'll jump over to the YouTube, subscribe to the Dave Kittle Show on YouTube, and I will right now share my screen. Here we go. I'm going to run through this. I'm not going to say everything, but this is our onboarding handbook for concierge pain relief. We call this the Elite Clinician Onboarding, Coaching, and 90-Day Integration Program. Right off the bat, I think it's really important for new team members to understand, like, what are some of the objectives or what are some of the milestones so that they can expect, so they know and expect what's going to happen in the next 30, 60, 90 days. So we have some expectations, and we're going to go through all of that right now, but very, very quickly. So again, if you are interested in this, jump over to the Dave Kittle Show on YouTube, and that way you can check out how I have this shared on the screen, the actual PDF document on where we pull a lot of our onboarding. And what you'll immediately find, we're just on page 1. There is like no clinical stuff on here. So it's all soft skills. It's all what to say, what not to say, how to say things, tonality. What else is in here? We went through today the 3 legs of the stool, which is kind of like the 3-pillar pitch. If you know Alex Hormozy, he teaches how to basically present a 3-pillar pitch, or the 3 legs of the stool. Like, here's what our service will do. It's going to be this, this, and this. And we'll get into that really, really briefly. But this is not a traditional physical therapy job. And our promise to you, this is the onboarding document, getting right into it. Our promise to you: clear expectations, elite coaching, ongoing mentorship. And also, those are the top 3, but then also strong leadership support, a pathway to professional growth and higher income. We go into mission and philosophy. I know some of you some of you listening probably don't care, or it's not a big thing for you, but our philosophy at Concierge Pain Relief operates at the intersection of 1, clinical excellence; 2, ethical influence and buy-in; 3, luxury level service and hospitality. Those things, you don't really hear those things in healthcare or physical therapy that much, but that is our ever-evolving improvement, striving to improve. And our professional standard, I've used ChatGPT and Gemini and some of these other tools to pull in some of the best onboarding practices from some of the best companies out there. And it's not necessarily like the best companies, meaning like Apple or Tesla or Amazon. For us, we like to model and exemplify brands, elite hospitality brands. Like, what do they do? So Ritz-Carlton, Four Seasons, Rolls-Royce. We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen So what does that mean in concierge pain relief? Clients are never treated as numbers or diagnoses. Therapists maintain authority and also autonomy without arrogance. Mutual respect is always non-negotiable. We do discharge and fire clients when they're disrespectful to us, even if they're paying out of pocket, which is crazy, but it happens. And myself and the leadership team, like, we want to always support our staff members when boundaries are crossed by clients, by patients, by clients, customers. I'm not going to get into all this, but you can, again, on YouTube, you'll check it out. You can pause it. Phase 1, week 0 to 2. It's warm welcome, anticipation of needs of clients, fond farewell, saying the client's name as much as possible. Really some high level stuff, grooming, presentation, like physical, like personal grooming. Because these therapists are representing my brand wherever they go, and they're representing your brand wherever your therapists go. Like for us, our therapists are going into private residences, office buildings, luxury apartments and penthouses. They're going to our brick and mortar office. They're going to New York City hotels, anywhere some of our clients want to be treated. So professional dress, professional attire, not necessarily clean shaven all the time, but like really tight with professional dress, not like wrinkled clothes or like big baggy clothes or things like dirty shoes or whatever. Like all those types of things we focus on. Those things we believe are table stakes, and we filter candidates in and out because of those things as well. We will qualify or disqualify candidates who interview with us for some of those things. Privacy and discretion. Our clients are sometimes very, they're in the limelight, they're in the spotlight, influencers or investors, or they're millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires, whatever. So privacy and discretion is super important. Here's the 3-pillar framework. Again, this might be another time that I go into this deeper. The leg of the stool, 3 legs of the stool. Number 1, the right diagnosis. Number 2, the right treatment plan or game plan. And number 3, accountability. If you don't have one of those, the stool falls over. You might have 2 and not accountability or whatever. The stool can kind of dangle a little bit, but I'm giving a physical example, a metaphor of what we describe this to patients, prospective patients, over the phone call when they first call into us. And now we're also training our physical therapists to actually reinforce the same stories and examples and metaphors to new patients at the first visit, at the initial evaluation. So that's for more like aches and pains, ortho type patients. And then we have the 3-pillar framework for neurological patients, geriatric patients, that type of an approach. So there's 3 pillars, but again, 3 legs of the stool. We clinically, business jargony, we say the 3-pillar framework, but really what we mean is literally a story, a metaphor of, hey, there's 3 legs of a stool. I know that current stools are 4 legs. Wherever you go into a bar, a restaurant, whatever, most stools have 4 legs, but the original stools had 3, and so it's so much easier. Human brains comprehend 3 so much easier, and anything past 3, it becomes too much. So the first leg of the stool for the neuro clients or geriatric clients, the first leg of the stool is the right independence strategy or the right freedom strategy, because it's all about their freedom, their independence, having control over their health and wellness, control over their health and wellness decisions, and confidence, dignity, all that preserved from day one. Second leg of the stool for this, the right treatment plan, the right game plan, a personalized, customized approach, not guesswork. Every visit is with the same doctor of physical therapy for one-on-one visits, unless you want to switch to another therapist, and we will help our clients do that. And then the third leg of the stool is accountability. So the client feels supported, and booking out the visits and the client attending the visits is basically like the accountability. Like, hey, we have this strategy or we have this game plan, and we're going to book out these visits on these dates and times. And we're going to talk about things to do in between, and all of that in between and the visits that we schedule. You show up for the visits, or we show up to your home or apartment for those visits. And that is, for the most part, the biggest component of accountability. If you don't have accountability, obviously that's people, we're in January right now, and there's always the new year and the New Year's resolutions. And I believe like one of the biggest things about the New Year's resolution failures is that folks are making their own resolutions on their own, and there's no accountability. There's no internal or external accountability. So anyway, it's a big component. I'll probably do another episode on this. Our evaluation template that you see here is mandatory, but key required questions at the evaluation. What are your expectations for your evaluation today? If that doesn't, I mean, a bunch of these questions are really, really great to ask. If you don't ask one or two, it's not going to like kill you with building rapport or whatever. I mean, it's certainly going to help. And the more of these questions you ask, the better you're going to have new patients and clients that actually buy in and agree with your summary of your findings during your evaluation. They're going to agree with the plan that you're going to lay out, like, hey, 2 times a week for 6 weeks or whatever, or you need 15 visits for this knee injury, or you need 15 visits for this low back and sciatica, whatever. So a couple of these questions, and some of these, shout out to Dr. Ben Boggy at ProKinetics, somebody that I got from his evaluation template that he had shared with me many months ago. So I asked, what are your expectations? What are your expectations for your evaluation today? Like, that's a great question to ask early in the evaluation. Another great question, what's most important to you right now? Because the therapist might think, oh, I got to do like manual therapy and I got to like ease your pain or your symptoms or whatever. And the client actually might not care about that right away. They might care about doing more of an evaluation to find the root cause where the therapist can actually provoke their symptoms or change the symptoms, or they just want to get a second opinion. Like, you don't know unless you ask. What happens if this doesn't change? It's a great consequence question. I suggest you go into ChatGPT and you can ask ChatGPT for the most common objections to physical therapy, especially for us, like paying out of pocket at a premium rate for physical therapy, and consequence questions. Ask ChatGPT how to overcome common objections by helping you create rebuttals, and also redirect questions, and then also consequence questions. So what happens if this doesn't change? Like, I know you said you were thinking about calling us for the last 2 months and you didn't, but now you're here today. That's amazing. Congratulations on taking that step. And we talked about it's going to take 5 weeks or 10 weeks or whatever to get this better. What happens if this doesn't change? Like, you want to highlight what happens if they don't take action with you? What happens if they don't take action at all? Another great question I also got from Dr. Ben Boggy. If we were to continue working together today, and if we were to hit a home run in the next 3 months, how might that success look for you? Because you want to have that prospective patient imagine themselves 3 months down the road and they have whatever, less chronic pain. They can run further. They can exercise and have less issues or flare-ups or whatever. Describe for me, like, what might that be? Or like, if you could wave a magic wand, let's say you don't have any of these symptoms 3 months down the road, what might you be doing? And you want to pull that out from prospective patients at the evaluation, or the new patient at the evaluation. They might say hiking, pickleball, paddleball, whatever, swimming, CrossFit, high rocks. Like, what are those things? You need to pull this out of them, because then when you develop the plan with them and your treatment plan moving forward, you have to incorporate all the things that they actually care about in every little thing that you do, whether it's booking the next appointment, booking out their plan of care, all that. So there's so much more in here. I'm not going to go into this too deeply. Trying to skim role playing and ethical sales training. My therapist and I were going to be doing shoulder to shoulder, whether in person or even on Zoom, role playing. The therapists are not doing phone calls or answering phone calls, but it's still important for our therapists to understand the common objections of, like, hey, this is too expensive. This is more than I thought it would be. I don't have the budget for this. I need to speak to my spouse. I need to sleep on it. I need to think about it. There's objections. There's stalls and delays and procrastinations. And we want to, sometimes they're smoke screens. Sometimes they're excuses. Sometimes they're delays. Some people call around and they're like, I want to work with you guys, but like, I didn't know it was going to cost that much or whatever. Like, so we need to coach our therapists, including this therapist that I'm doing the onboarding with today and this week, on how to get ready for all these objections. Get prepared for them. They're going to happen. And so if the therapist does not get flustered, if they respond confidently with clarity also, right here on the page, it maintains authority, it maintains credibility. The patient might be able to get redirected back on track, and maybe they do take action. But at the end of the day, like, we're not selling snake oil. Like, we are selling a transformation. We're selling health and wellness. And what we do is amazing in the whole physical therapy world. And there's literally no downside. Like, there is, unless someone gets burned by a hot pack or so, like something it happens very infrequently. There's like basically no side effects there are no side effects to physical therapy. Like, people are going to move more and get better and healthier, and we're helping them empower them and all that. So another thing, the Mount Dumore framework, I think I have a graphic to show. EMR and documentation standards. Oh yeah, like really, really short. The heart model: hear, empathize, apologize, resolve, and then thank. So this basically says it right here, used for managing service breakdowns, frustration, emotional clients, all that type of stuff can happen. But when we're one-on-one, it happens less often. Trauma-informed care, a little bit there with like folks that have chronic pain or previous abuse history or whatever. This is now phase 5, weeks 7 to 12. We're talking about clinical mentorship, differential diagnosis, problem solving, client psychology, professional development, income growth, coaching, and having them earn more. There's performance metrics, of course, the perfect visit self-audit. What else? And now here, this is super important, and you can please take this and change it. But your 90-day milestones. So like, and this is a little vague, and for us, like, it certainly could say how many visits, or how for you out there, like, it might say like how many visits or how many units or how many units per week or how many visits per day or per week or per pay period. What are your expectations? What are your expectations of your new full-time team member by day 30? Confident evaluations, clear plan of care, presentation, strong scheduling compliance. Day 60, independent caseload, fewer objections, increased word of mouth referrals, or whatever that might look like to you. By day 90, full clinical autonomy. For this therapist, it's going to be way sooner than that. Strong income trajectory, and a trusted concierge pain relief ambassador, where they're representing our brand all the time, every day. Final message to the new hire: you are not alone. You are not alone here. You will be coached, supported, protected. And if you follow this system, your clients will win, and you will win. So the clients will get the results that they're looking for, hopefully sooner. And then you, the therapist, will get rewarded in terms of more income, patients that love you. They stay longer, even after the plan of care. You finish the plan of care, they stay for wellness visits, tune-ups, check-ins, all that. And they love the results, so they're going to tell their friends, families, neighbors, coworkers, whatever it might be. All right, and then so on this next page is our 3-step process. This is Mount Dumore. This is Mount Dumore, a very simple 3-step graphic. Right now it's digital, but I'm going to have these printed out and have my therapists give new patients this as a half a page or maybe a full page, maybe glossy. Maybe not laminated, but like it'll be kind of like a second version of like a business card. It's going to have a phone number and website on it, of course. Step 1, recover, manage or eliminate your pain, your symptoms. So step 1 is like, hey, I know like no one wants to have pain or symptoms. Like, it's just the low hanging fruit here. Let's just do some things to cool down your symptoms, whatever that might be to you with your treatment approach. Here's where you're at. You're basically at 0 in terms of like, you have the situation. Now, step 1 is we're going to ease your symptoms. We're going to basically try to get an in-visit change in the very first evaluation, the first visit. When you meet a new patient, you go through the evaluation, but there's got to be some pre and post tests and some treatment. And the goal is to ease some of their symptoms on the very first visit, because that results in themselves saying, oh, I went from a 6 out of 10 pain with bending over to a 3 out of 10 low back pain with bending over. After you, the therapist, did McKenzie or Mobes or soft tissue or 90-90 hip drills or squats or lunges or some mobility stuff, whatever, hands-on, loading, strengthening, whatever it might be. And then it's like, okay, so I know that I can help you with this. And the first thing is what we're going to do is we're going to start working on your recovery, which is right here, step 1. And step 2, we're going to be rebuilding you to get back to where you were before. So we're going to be addressing the root cause of the issue, blah, blah, blah. We're going to get you back to your previous level of function. There's got to be some better non-jargony way to say it, but we want to get you back to your previous self. And then, though, step 3, redefine, like build resilience, prevent future issues, getting maybe new limits. So could we improve your performance, your function, your capacity, your lifestyle, your health and wellness better than it's ever been, or better than it's been in the past 2 to 5 years or whatever, to the point where you're scheduling a 5K race or getting back to golf or getting back to something that you never thought you could get back to? That's Mount Doomore. All right. Let me skip through this, how to introduce the graphic, all that. So I kind of give an example of how my therapist can describe this graphic. Here's a basically like bullet by bullet. Step 1, step 2, step 3. You can pause it again on YouTube if you're interested in reading it and giving me some feedback on it. But again, this is how I am onboarding my next 6-figure physical therapist. Ongoing support and reevaluation, core message to the client. Again, words are powerful. Training reminder for physical therapists: do not rush this whole explanation. And then it's like a bunch of policies and procedure stuff. So it's like late cancellations and no-shows. Yes, we charge the full rate for that. I've done episodes with Jerry Durham. I love him. I've known him now shout out to Jerry, because his 49ers just beat my Eagles yesterday, and I'm still bitter about it. I don't even want to be making this video right now because I'm still so aggravated with my Philadelphia Eagles for losing to the 49ers after the defense got 2 interceptions and we still lost by 4 points. Anyway, I disagree strongly with Jerry. Jerry says don't charge for late cancellations and no-shows, and the issue is upstream of that or whatever. But for what we do, we charge the full rate for cancellations and no-shows. So that whole thing is in the policy here. I do still pay my therapist for the late cancels and no-shows. We tell patients, hey, we're not trying to make money off the late cancellations and no-shows. What we want to do is we want to keep you accountable. We want to hold you accountable, because if we do that, that's the best way that we know to help our clients get to their goals, to get to their short-term or long-term goal, to get back to the race or whatever, get back to golf, is that we hold you accountable. And a little spoke in the wheel of accountability for us is that we enforce the late cancellation or no-shows. So it is what it is. Conditions for payment, all that. You can pause that. We're only on page 25, and there's no way I'm going to get to page 78. Key takeaways: late cancellation enforcement, respect for clinical time and practice operations. All right. Required notice and communication, core principles. Therapists does have the discretion to waive the late cancellation no-show fee, but they're not going to get paid for it. So then we're not going to charge the patient's card. It's not going to count towards the therapist's weekly tally of the visits that they're trying to get in terms of like getting into the weekly bonus pay. That is totally the discretion of the therapist, and I think the therapists like that and respect that. That's the feedback that I get. So it's clinical judgments, the tally and compensation we talked about. Let me keep going. Policies and procedures, prioritization of new client evaluations. This is no different than all of your practices out there. You want to fit in new evaluations as soon as possible. You get a new evaluation. A wait list is crazy. Like a new patient calls you and they're like, you can't get them in for 4 to 6 weeks. Like that's nuts. Like, yes, we want to respect the current patients that we have, unless they're post-operative. Like, hey, can we just maybe worst case scenario, they skip one visit, an existing patient, because they already know, like, and trust you. But this new client, I want to get this new client in like today or tomorrow. Like, I want to get this new client in as soon as possible because they're shopping around. And if they decide on us and they're okay with paying $350 visit with us, like, let's roll out the red carpet, the whole thing, the Ritz-Carlton, the Four Seasons, all that. Like, let's get them going as soon as possible. Even if they do change their mind and go somewhere else, like, I want them to experience our amazing time. I want them to go through our onboarding of new patients. I want them to experience that, the new patients. So let's get them going. Let's get them in as soon as possible. whenever that is possible, depending on therapist scheduling and availability, all that, of course. So, continuity of care and discontinuation of services. I just don't really like to say the word discharge. Some clients stay with us for 2 to 5 years, and then some only stay with us for 2 to 3 visits. It's all good. Like there's different folks out there. Trying to scroll. Managing client preference. Okay. Managing client preference for predominantly passive treatment. So there's certain patients or clients like they tell us like they want 100% manual therapy, passive treatment the whole time. There's ways to navigate that. Come over to the YouTube, hit pause as I'm scrolling through it. What else? Best practices, documentation expectations. Again, most of this, now StimPod, we're talking about StimPod. It's a really interesting pulse radio frequency treatment. We only, we might do it 5 or 10 minutes at a time per visit. If someone's like super flared up, maybe it's half the visit, but for the most part, we're trying to get people moving. I think it's a really good modality. I use it myself when I have aches or pains. So this is like a little bit of an explanation for my therapist. All right. Policy and procedure here, presenting the plan of care and securing client buy-in. Hugely underrated, extremely valuable. Thank you to Serty McKee, my business coach, for helping me, coaching me through this. You can learn, you can check this out. You can pause it, go check out the YouTube. What is said at the end of the evaluation in terms of getting new patient buy-in is gigantic. If you want to help more patients achieve more of their goals and make a lot more money in your practice and have your therapist make a lot more money. Accountability and documentation, another policy and procedure, mandatory pre and post test during the first visit evaluation. There's going to be some small exclusions, but for the most part, especially if it's ortho, aches and pains, back pain, neck pain, knee pain, shoulder pain, whatever, it's got to be like, what gives you pain? Like when I raise my arm up like this, it gives me pain. Okay, so that's the pre-test. 5 out of 10 shoulder pain like that. And then boom, 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 I'm going to do shoulder, minips, maybe neck, if I think it's neck or shoulder, whatever. All right, let's try it again. Oh, wow. It just went from a 6 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10. All right, great. We just knocked your pain down by 2 notches on the pain scale. Like, so pre-test, intervention, treatment, modality, whatever, drill, stretch, whatever, and then rechecking the motion. I know a lot of you do this, but like not enough therapists do it. It's crazy how it's overlooked. Pre and post test we talked about. We're still going through that section. Neurological cases required adaptation whenever possible. Pre and post test, but kind of like a neuro-based. What page are we on here? We're almost to the end here. Almost to the end. Hang in there with me, folks. Policy and procedure, requesting Google reviews. These are just like, hey, even at the first visit, patient says, oh my gosh, this was amazing, or they're happy or whatever. Hey, Mary, like, I know that you found us on Google. Like, would you be open to, you just gave me feedback. You just said like, oh my gosh, my neck feels 20% better, or my foot feels, I haven't had my foot feel this good in like 6 weeks or whatever. Hey, whatever you just said, like, by the way, some practices will wait until the discharge. I don't agree with that. Like, whenever the peak of happiness might be, whenever the patient or client is like, oh my gosh, this was awesome, or thank you, or I'm really surprised or shocked, or I'm really satisfied, or whatever they say, even in the evaluation, even in the first visit, therapists, in my opinion, therapists should say, hey, whatever you just said, like, can I send you a Google link for you to write that, whatever you just said, and oh, you didn't, I'll type it up and I'll send it to you, what you just said, or whatever. You said XYZ, or before and after, like, before this, I wasn't sure if physical therapy would help me, and now, after one visit, you helped X amount, and I'm so grateful that I came here, or whatever. Hey, Mary, like, you just said that, like, can I text and email you a Google link for you to write that as a Google review? And then you text it right away, or you put it in an automated system that follows up with people. Do not be afraid to ask several times. People are just super busy and they get distracted, and there's social media and stuff in the news. I mean, there's so many distractions and things out there. So people need, they need you to ask them multiple times to write a Google review. My last Google review, I asked someone, I don't know, before the holidays. So it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And then the patient just posted it yesterday. So, and then you thank them and, all that. So there's a whole bunch of stuff here. Here's exactly what we say. This is exactly what I text or email. So I suggest the therapist ask for a Google review in person, assuming the patient says, yeah, sure. Oh yeah, of course, I'll get to that, whatever. Yeah. If someone says no, like, okay, like that's kind of like the end of the road. But most people are like, oh yeah, sure, happy to help or whatever. So they said yes, they said okay. So they most of the time need reminders and follow-up, text, email, whatever, of this type of a link, this type of verbiage. These reviews help more patients and clients find us online. These reviews help more busy New Yorkers find us online. Thank you so much in advance for your consideration. Can you write us a Google review about a before and after, or that you mentioned that you felt bad for this amount of time and then you felt better in this short amount of time with us? Like a pre and post or like a before and after, whatever. So that's it. Emails, text to follow up. And maybe we'll stop it there because I'll probably do another episode on this. Handling out-of-pocket cost objections and securing plan of care commitment. We'll make that as another episode. Thank you so much. Happy New Year. Go and hit subscribe for the Dave Kittle Show on YouTube, iTunes, Spotify. Give me some feedback. Comment publicly, especially on the YouTube. Let me know where you like to watch or listen to this show the most. If you like this, also give me feedback. Or if you don't like this, give me feedback that you don't like this style of sharing our documents and what we do with our therapists and all that. But again, this is it. This is how to onboard your next 6-figure staff physical therapist. Take care. Bye.
Hey, it's Dave Kittle. Are you a healthcare business owner or physical therapy practice owner who is looking to figure out your succession plan or exit strategy? We might be able to help. And in fact, we may be interested in acquiring your practice. If you're interested, you can reach out to me. Shoot me an email at dave@concierge-painrelief.com. That's DAVE at CONCIERGE painrelief.com. Or you can call me at any time, 646-781-8884.